I have no idea what the EPA does really, but they contacted me and they said, hey, we think you might be in violation of lead paint laws. We'd like to come and inspect everything that you're doing. And so I started, rapidly Googling lead paint laws, and it turns out that I actually was in violation of some of the lead paint laws, specifically the RRP laws. And so Kate and I connected previously, I think when she spoke at an nhreia previously. And so I called Kate up and she helped me out big time. She told me all about the laws, all about what I needed to do to get into compliance, and actually helped me to work with the EPA as well. So she actually brought a sample of the letter that they sent me. It's actually in that middle table there. So if you want to see that letter, it's getting waved around. And from my understanding, there is an enforcement action coming to Southern New Hampshire from the EPA. So I asked Kate if she would come and talk to the nhreia because I think that this is really important and interesting. And if you're a contractor or a landlord, I think that this information is really relevant to you. And I was really glad I could get in compliance with the law because the EPA fines, from what I learned, are pretty steep. So fingers crossed I won't get fined. All right, welcome Kate.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm sorry to be here to talk about not a very pleasant thing, but actually we can make it better. We can. I've been dealing with them a lot. So at that middle table there are two clipboards. One is sign up, tell me here if you want to know about the enforcement, because we're out of letters, I think, already. So the EPA is doing concentrated enforcement here in Manchester for the next year. They have just started. So just put your email address there or whatever, and I will send you a copy of the letter and also a blurb about it, a blog about it that I sent out this morning to my mailing list. So basically what they're doing, and the second thing, there's a pink form there, which is about the New Hampshire Housing Rental Survey, which my company is also involved in. So I'd love to send you a copy of the survey. It's a really cool document. They surveyed 20,000 landlords in the state and give you a lot of great information about the rental market. What's average 2-bedroom and people pay for parking and, et cetera, who has laundry, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm happy to share both of those things. They're just free things that I'm doing anyway, so. But I will tell you about the EPA thing because I think that's really important. Periodically, they go to different parts of New England and do what they call concentrated enforcement, meaning they bring all their inspectors from Region 1, which is all of New England, to focus on that area. And Manchester won the lottery, or lost this year. And so I got a note from them about, 2 months ago saying, would you come to a meeting about this? And they had a meeting at the Manchester Health Department. And I was really surprised to be invited because I'm just a private training provider. I have nothing to do with them. I offer lead classes. So I said, what are you calling me here for? And they said, we don't have anybody offering the classes and we're gonna make these people show us that they're certified. So I offer the classes. If you need one, I'm happy to have you come. But also, I'd just like to help people not be in trouble with them. So my phone number is over there, but I'll give it to you also. It's 603-781-4304. Again, 603-781-4304. And also, you can just Google me, Kate Kirkland, it'll turn right up. And I have a few websites, a lot of stuff out there about lead. But primarily, I just came today from teaching an 8-hour RRP class. If you are not RRP certified, or whoever's doing your maintenance is not RRP certified, they need to get certified right now. They just do. The EPA is only looking for 2 things. Their compliance letter, which is very clear, it's a 2-page letter. It says we're after 2 things. We want to come see you in like 2 weeks, and we have 2 things to talk about. One is your disclosures. You already know. You're giving out your Protect Your Family book when you're leasing up apartments. That's really it. If you do that, or you sell, if you're a realtor, right? If you sell apartments or rent apartments, you got to have the Protect Your Family book in the lease. If you don't know what that means, just email me or call me. I'll send you a bunch of stuff about it. The second thing is you have to, if whoever is disturbing paint in any house built before 1978 has to have this 1-day RRP certification. Cost a couple $100 and it's good for 5 years. The fines are up to $41,000 per violation. So, spend a couple $100 if you need to, right? But the reality is, I can talk to you about it. You may not even need to, but give me a call or shoot me an email and we'll talk. I've seen them do this concentrated enforcement thing before, and I will say they have a lot of bark Not that much bite. Last time, they inspected something like 85 different properties and fined 4. They're not really out there to fine you. They're really just out there to make sure you're in compliance. So if you say, oh shoot, I didn't know I was supposed to do that, but I'll do it right now, that goes a long way. It really does. But if you run and hide, that goes a long way in the other direction. So if you get this letter, please call me. I'm happy to help. You can tell me who the inspector is. I might even know them. I knew the inspector that Ryan got the letter from. I was able to call her and sort of smooth the waters. And I can often do that. Not always, but often, just because I've been doing this for a long time. So I've gotten to know all the people. So that's all. I've been to a bunch of RHEIA meetings over the years. A lot of you are people that I know, and I really appreciate your time. I wasn't on the agenda today, but I felt like it was important that you know they're really here right now. I mean, I'm getting calls every day from landlords and property managers. That seems to be who they're focusing on. So please stay out of trouble and let me know if I can help. And if we can send you some information about either thing, the clipboards are there. I'll hang around for a little bit, but then I'm going to take off. I'm tired of teaching all day. But just give me your contact information or reach out to me and I'll give you information about both the rental survey, which I think might be great information you might like, and also what's going on with the EPA enforcement. And Nick Norman, who I think some of you know. Nick is not here tonight because he's in Washington, D.C. doing landlord legislative work. But he actually is also one of my trainers. He teaches for me. My company is called LED EDU. You can look us up too, LED EDU. I've been teaching this class since 2009. Anyway, Nick is holding a class, 2 classes, just for landlords, not letting anyone else in. So it's not a contractor and, sort of general conversation, it's a landlord conversation. You'll still get the regular EPA 5-year certification, but you need to do it with a landlord leading the class. He's going to teach the classes, and also with other landlords in the room. So the discussion will be very landlord focused if that's your bent, if that's something you might do. April 1st and April 5th until they fill up. Those are the 2 landlord classes. But we have a lot of classes coming up, and we will continue to do that as long as we're needed. I don't know how long they're going to be here, but they said up to a year. Any questions? Do we have a minute for questions?
Yeah, we do. And I just got RRP certified through Kate's class, and it was a really positive experience. So we got time for a few quick questions.
So is this just Manchester, or is this like all of southern New Hampshire, like Nashville included?
Yeah, they said the greater Manchester area. I'm not really sure what that means. I know the first mailing went out specifically to Manchester, but this happened when they went to Portsmouth too. They started in Portsmouth and then they started circling out, So I would bet they'll get to Nashua.
And what's your phone number again?
603-781-4304. Kate Kirkwood, yeah.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Kate?
Okay, if you're not sanding or disturbing, if you're actually just painting the walls or painting the woodwork, is that considered disturbing?
Good question. So yeah, the law says anyone who is disturbing paint in a house built before 1978. Disturbing means cutting, scraping, sanding, or aggressively washing. That's their definition. Cutting, scraping, sanding, or aggressively washing. And what they'll say is, if I took a sponge and rubbed it on this wall hard enough that the paint came off on my sponge, I'm disturbing the paint. So imagine what that means for pressure washing, for example.
All right, fantastic. We got time for one more. Anyone else want to ask Kate a question? No, see none? All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Kate.
Thank you for having me.